everybody. Welcome back. I was out last week. Thank you for giving me a little bit of a break. I've been traveling with Retreat, and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm exhausted. But I did get some rest. It was so crazy. I drove all the way back from Fredericksburg, Texas, which if you're not familiar with Fredericksburg, it's like, I think it's like an hour and a half from San Antonio. So, and I'm up in Tulsa, Oklahoma area. So it was quite a day, but I did take advantage of stopping at some places on the way home to give myself a break and to be able to walk around. So I'll share some of that stuff with you guys tonight. But we've got a big night tonight. This is going to be our last week of Wrap It Up, which, oh my gosh, I've had so much fun with Wrap It Up. I hope you have too. And that has been our Lella Boutique. Our sew along we've been doing, and it has been so much fun. And I reached out to Vanessa. She was going to try to come on. It looks like she just got back from out of the country, so she is not available, but she wants to see all of our quilts. So make sure as you finish them and you get them finished, tag her, Lella Boutique, on your Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is, your social media that you do. We're going to tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about stitching our rows together. If you have not done that yet, I'm going to talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about pressing. And I'm also going to talk about borders, getting borders on your quilt tops. I know a lot of people think that we know how to do this stuff, and then we don't. And so I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks on that. And then I'm going to show you guys a pantograph option that I'm going to be using for anyone who sends it my way to quilt. So we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Also, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing in the coming weeks now that we are finishing up our sew along, what we're going to do the rest of the time we have holidays going. And so that's going to be a lot of fun too. So stay tuned for more. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. But first, what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit about sewing our rows together for our Wrap It Up quilt. So what I did here, and producer John might have to give me a yes, perfect. I'm doing a little example. Of course, these are not the blocks, but I just used some 5-inch squares to kind of walk you through and show you kind of what the way this works. And I realized while I was at Retreat that not everybody does it this way, and I'm hoping you guys can see. Yeah, you can see them all. I'm going to pull this back just a hair. Not everybody has done, you know, where you've got all the same squares the same size, and you're trying to put them all together and keep them all together so that you know how it's all supposed to finish. And so once you lay out all your blocks, it might look something like this. Of course, all your blocks are going to be very similar. What I love, I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is my friend Belle, Seam Sew Me. It's her jumbo number clips, and I love using these, especially for things like this, because it helps me keep all of my rows in line, and in this case, actually all of my columns in line. I'm going to show you a little bit about how I do this. This is a tip or trick you can use with anything. I'm going to show you how I do this. You're welcome to, if you've got a method to your madness, feel free. It's not going to offend me in the least bit, but I want to show you some ideas on how you can make this easier and quicker. And one of the things you could do is, even when you're doing like a patchwork quilt, or you're going to do like 10-inch squares or 5-inch squares and make it easier and faster, just stitch through them all. This is one of the ways you can do that. So I'm going to take, so you'll notice that I've got these two clips, 1 and 2. This 1 and 2, I'm going to use these clips to kind of keep my columns in order. So I've got a 3 and a 4. This is a simple 4x4 patchwork. So what we're going to do, we're going to take 1 and 2, and I am going to take the top one, and I'm just going to grab the top one, and I'm going to stack it on top of each other, just like this. And this is going to create my column 1 and my column 2. You're going to do the same thing with the other 2 columns. So you're going to have 3. You're going to have them all stacked up in order. and 4. So we're going to take the top, remember, and we're just going to stacky stack. Okay. So now we have our columns 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you're going to take your 1 and 2, you're going to take those first, and we're going to stitch those together. And I'm going to show you how that works. And I like to keep one on one side of my machine and one on the other side. So if John, if you can give me the aux, that would be awesome. And I got a new light for this. So oh, kids, my grandkids are on here. You better brush your teeth and get to bed. Be good for mama. Okay. So I don't know if you can see this, but I've got that number 2 stack on this side, and I've got my 1 stack on this side. And I'm just going to stitch through these. I'm going to take the top 2, and I'm going to go right sides together. And we're going to just stitch that out. Oh, and I wonder if I'm not plugged in. Who knows? I'm telling you. There we go. And then we're going to not cut that. We're going to leave it right there. And we're going to take the next 2. And we're going to do the very same thing. And we're going to keep our threads attached. And we're going to stitch through this. And we're going to take the next one. Right sides together. We're keeping all of the, and this is called chain piecing for those of you who are not familiar with this term. That's what that is. And then we're going to take the last one. Right sides together. And then we can cut our threads. Okay, we'll go back to an overhead. So now we have these chain pieces. So we've used our first 2 columns, and I'm going to open this up and show you what we've got here. So we have all of these are stitched together, and this is pretend these are your blocks from Wrap It Up. So now they're all together, they stay together, and now we're going to take our 3rd column and we're going to stitch these to the number 2 column, but we're not going to cut the strings. So I'm going to go back to the machine, and you'll notice I've got number 2, and I'm going to take the top one from number 3, and we're going to attach that. And you can pin if you want. I'm not pinning. And you are welcome to drop questions in the chat if I'm going too fast, too slow, you're bored. I don't know. But I wanted to talk through this because I think a lot of people have not actually seen this method, and it makes this so much easier, and it goes so much faster when you do it this way. And you can just use this on all kinds of projects, which is awesome. And then the last block in column 3, right sides together. And again, we have not cut our threads. We're keeping them all together. Okay, now we're going to go back to the table. And we're going to straighten this back out and see where we're at. So now you can see we have all 4 of these. These are stitched together, and now it's time to attach column 4. And so that's what we're going to do next. So I'm going to take this back over to the machine, and we're going to stitch column 4. And of course, I'm not probably being perfect here tonight, but this might be a cute little quilt for one of my granddaughters, their baby dolls or something. I was just using some scraps. Okay, and then 2 more. And I'll fill you guys in on my fun adventures at retreat. I've also got some things in the slideshow I think you'll like. Okay. All right. So now we have all of those sewn together. So the columns are sewn together, which created our rows. And this makes this so much easier when you're trying to get everything pieced. Okay, one of the things that I'm going to show you next, each row, you want them to nest. Okay, so your seams, what I do in this situation is I typically will iron them one way on one row and iron the seams the opposite way in the next. With this quilt, you are not going to want to do that. With the Wrap It Up quilt, there are so many seams coming together. So I recommend pressing your seams open. But traditionally, if you have just a patchwork, you're going to go one direction, one row, one direction, one row the other direction, so that they will nest together. So if you've not seen that method before, I just wanted to make sure you guys saw that. This will help you keep all of your packages in order because they go back and forth and back and forth. So once you lay them out, this will help you understand like where they're going to fall and keep them in order without them coming out of order. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys. I'm going to show you, that's all there is for that, because I'm going to show you Wrap It Up. Oh, you guys, this is not the prettiest quilt. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. And if you have finished your quilt, I would love to hear about that. Drop that in the comments. Okay. And I have actually not pressed all of this out yet. But you'll notice, like here, I've opened my seams up here, and I'll go through and press all of this open, but I opened these seams before. I don't know if you can even see that, but I've pressed these open so that I can stitch and nest those a little bit better, and it lays flatter. Your long armor will love you for that. So that's just a little tip. Okay, the next tip I want to share with you guys is how to get your borders measured. So a lot of times we get our borders and we've been given a certain width, which is perfect. We want our widths. The width's never going to change. But sometimes our lengths of those borders do change, and it depends on how we've pieced our quilt. And so at this point, you really want to make sure that things have not shifted and changed in the process. So if you just cut your borders to the length that it said to cut them, you may be a little off, because by the time you starched your fabric, or you didn't starch, or you've steamed and you didn't starch, or you didn't pre-shrink, and everything changes. Everybody does it differently. So this is when you really want to take the time to measure what your borders actually should be to fit your quilt top. And it doesn't matter. Everybody says, oh, it should fit perfectly because, but there's no such thing. There is no such thing. So this one is kind of big, and just for the sake of showing you guys this on screen, I'm going to just fold it so that we'll pretend. So we're going to pretend you're going to take 3 measurements. And I may have to zoom out. I wonder if I have to zoom out here. Oh no. Uh-oh. Let's see. Well, it's not going to let me. It's not going to let me. So one of the things you're going to want to do is take your tape measure, and you're going to want to take 3 measurements. Do not do it at the very top of your quilt. Come about 6 inches off the top, and you're going to measure it from side to side, which mine is showing, you can see it's showing about 33, which means really it's 66. So I double that because I've got this folded perfectly in half. So what you would do, you take that first measurement. I've got 33 here. Then you're going to take one midway. And this is midway down here. And this is showing about 33 1/4. And then you're going to take one down at the very bottom. Again, not at the very bottom. I shouldn't have said that. You want to come about 6 inches off the bottom. And that's about 33 1/4. So you would take those 3 numbers and average them, which most of it is about 33 1/4, give or take. So I would probably go ahead and cut my border about 66 1/4 to make sure that that's going to fall correctly. And the reason you want to do that, you want to make sure that you're able to have your borders the right size, so you're not getting a bunch of waves and you're not getting a lot of fullness in your borders. This will keep it true to the quilt that you made. You don't need, it doesn't have to be exactly the way the pattern showed it. It needs to match your quilt top. And that way, when you go to long arm it or you quilt it yourself, it's going to lay flat and square. So those are just some tips as you start finishing your quilt. Make sure that you stay true to your quilt top and not just to the pattern, because you want to make sure that you give yourself the best opportunity for success, and that is going to be actually measuring your quilt top, not looking at the pattern. So again, your width of your strips are going to be all the same, and that's right. Follow the pattern for that, but length of those borders, you want to stay true to your quilt top. Any questions on any of that? Nothing? I'm so excited. I'm ready to quilt this up. So obviously I've got to put my borders on. That'll be the last thing I do. I'll get this pressed up and I'll start quilting. I'm so excited. And so I'm going to show you a little bit about what that quilting pantograph is going to be. If you are interested in having me quilt this for you, this is the pantograph that I'm going to be using for mine. It doesn't mean that you have to do the same thing, but I fell in love with this pantograph. I think it's darling. It's got the packages and the ribbon, and I don't know, it just feels like it was made for this quilt. And so this is the pantograph I'm going to be using for mine. If you want me to do the very same one for yours, just let me know. I've got several of you that have already reached out and are having me quilt this for you. If you want it before the holidays, I would recommend drop me a message tonight and let me know that you want me to quilt this for you. I will be taking them as soon as they get them. It'll be first come, first served. So make sure that you get in line. I do have a intake form out on my website, lesliequilts.com. You'll go under quilting services and there's an intake form there. Go ahead and fill that out so that you get your place in line. But it will be the first ones that come in. I try to crank them out and get them back to you as soon as possible. So I know that there are only, I think there are only 3 backings left. So if you're still wanting to get a backing to go with your Wrap It Up, I think I have 1 white left. There are no red left. And I think there are 2 green left, and that's it. So if you're wanting those are on the shop. So when you go to lesliequilts.com, you can click on shop and the backings can be found there. So also, if you do choose a backing and you want me to quilt it, let me know. And I will just hold on to your backing so that you don't have to worry about shipping. I didn't add the shipping to these for now. If you want me to ship it to you, I'll just invoice you separately for that, for the shipping cost. That way I had more people wanting me to quilt it for them than were taking it and quilting it themselves. So it was just easier for me to not charge shipping than do a separate invoice. So in case you were wondering. Any questions about that? I'm going to go into slideshow, and feel free to drop questions. But I'm going to draw. I thought I would show you a couple little updates to my quilt studio. I have been so frustrated lately. Since we moved into the studio, I felt like the cabinets in there were so dark, and it just looked like a bunch of junk in there, and it was driving me bananas. And so I told John, I was like, I have to get some lights put in here. And these are IKEA bookcases, so they're not like they're IKEA bookcases. And so I found some lights that I really like on Amazon, and I will make sure to drop those in the description tonight later. What I liked about these is that when you're lighting cabinets for display, this is so much information. You're probably like, this is information overload. But some of you might care and some of you may not. But when you're trying to light up a cabinet for display, you don't want the lighting down at the bottom or at the back. It causes weird shadows on your things. And so if you're really wanting to light something up, you want it coming at it. And so, like, for instance, lighting in here, for the studio here, it's lighting me up, so they're coming towards me. So I wanted these lights to do the same thing to the cabinet and the display things that are in the cabinet. So I was trying to find something that had kind of a rounded light, and it was really hard to find. And so I did find these fantastic lights, and they really weren't that expensive. I think I was able to light the whole cabinet up for about $100, maybe less than $100. And so I thought that was a really good find. And so I did today put them on a remote control because I don't like to have to turn. I'm a real weirdo. I don't want to go in and open up cabinets and turn lights off. So I put everything on a remote control, and it worked out really nice. Any questions? Oh, we're going to try to get to the next slide. I think go to cancel that. Okay, click on the picture. It's been a while since we've done this together, so he had a week off, John. Hey, click on the John. Click on the picture on the actual screen right there, right there. Yeah, click on that. Did you click on it? There you go. Now hit properties. We're doing a little impromptu lesson tonight, and then hit recapture. Start recapture. Okay, there you go. Awesome. Okay, this is a better picture of the light, so you can kind of see that in there. It's up there, and there's a wire, so of course I'm going to be really ticky-tack about this. My dad and I've been talking to him because, he loves tinkering around and figuring things out. I'm actually going to try to hide that with some trim, and I've never done that before. So stay tuned. I may have another update to the cabinets, but this has been, that's been my solution to this so far, and I think it worked out great. Okay, this is just a picture of getting ready for retreat and packing up my Juki, and I use a Tutto, I think it says Tutto, I don't know, or Tuto bag. This one's a Tula Pink one. I love it, and it's funny because I bought one and it fit, but it didn't fit quite well, so I bought another one that was bigger. So then I ended up having 2 rolling bags. But I use a So Easy table when I retreat because it sets the machine down in an ergonomic spot, and it has an insert just like what I have at home with my cabinet. And it travels so nice, and it's light. It's light. So, but on heavier machines, and I would consider a Juki a heavier machine, it does have a bar that you put across for support, and I really recommend that because it just gives it a little bit of sturdiness when you're using it. So that shows my 2 Tula Pinks. And so I'm going to show you what I've got there. I've got in that black bag on the front, that's my Laura Star. And yes, I took my Laura Star with me. If I was just going to be gone for like a couple of days, I probably wouldn't pack up my Laura Star, but I was going to be gone for several days. And y'all, I love my Laura Star iron, and so it packed up really actually pretty nicely. It wasn't huge, and I thought, you know, I've seen things like that. I thought, oh, I could never take my Laura Star on a retreat. It really wasn't that big a deal, and it stayed under my table, and I was able to press with it, so it was great. That bag behind is an LL Bean canvas boat bag, and I love that bag. I am able to put all my projects in it, so all my projects are in bags within that bag, and so I'm able to keep everything nice and compartmentalized, so that works out really well. So in the other bag, so I, of course, have my Juki in one of the rolling carts, but the other one that I'd bought for my Juki, but it was too small, I use that for all the other things. So I'm going to show you some pictures of that stuff next. Oh, maybe I'm not. Everything else, that's in the back of my car. Of course, that was before my trip to Moda and all the other kooky things I did on the way. So there's me at Moda. Oh my gosh, I was so overwhelmed. And that was just one row of like a gajillion. It's a huge warehouse, and I was kind of, it felt like Candyland for me. It was like just rows and rows and rows and rows of bolts of fabric. And then in a whole separate warehouse, it was all the notions and the thread, and pre-cuts. I mean, it was kind of, I had a ball, and it was funny. I got there like at 12, and they were like, okay, I know you're here at 12, but we close at 3. And I was thinking, I'm not going to be here 3 hours. You can totally be there 3 hours. You could have been there like hours upon hours upon hours. But this is not open to the public. It is for small businesses, quilt shops, to purchase their things. And so anyway, I was really excited. It was super fun. Okay, if you've not seen the new, and that's a terrible picture, but I wanted to make sure I talked about it. This is the new Cuddle from Moda, and it's like their version of a Minky. It's, in my opinion, it's just a lot better. And I love Minky, but I want that soft feel, but I don't, but I think this just, I don't know, it just feels nicer. I don't know how to explain that. But if you've not felt it, you really need to, because it is just incredible. And it has, it just has a shorter nap on it, but it's really cozy and soft and just, oh my gosh, so good, but easier to piece. So if you're having to piece Minky, we all have pieced Minky in the past, and it's terrible. This is much easier to piece. And so anyway, I just had to talk about it. If you've not felt it, you need to go to a local quilt shop and feel it. It is amazing. Okay, there's me and Doug, and of course I had a big piece of white gum in my mouth when I smiled, and I didn't realize that. But I was at, we were at Moda, and Doug Lico, he is a great friend, and I just cannot, I cannot talk about him enough. He's got some of the coolest rulers out there. Your simple folded corner rulers, they're amazing. If you're having to do anything snowball related and you're not using his ruler, you just are missing out. Okay, this was me at Burn Boot Camp, because I was crazy and decided, well, I'm in Texas and I probably should continue to work out since I've been working out. And I found a local Burn Boot Camp. That's the same boot camp I go to here in the Tulsa area, and they were lovely. And this one was in Flower Mound, Texas. So if you're anywhere around there and you're looking for a place to work out, I highly recommend it, because they were super people. Oh, of course, there's me and Doug, because we just can't get enough of each other. We had breakfast the next morning, and it was so funny because I had gotten through all the warehouse. I bought all the things I needed to get. I got all of our backings for the project, for our sew along. I was so excited, and I had all the notions I came after, and then I get back to my hotel, and it dawns on me, I totally forgot Bella 200, and I use Bella 200 for everything. So I texted Doug, and he's like, don't worry about it. I'll grab it for you. And so he brought it to me at breakfast, and I went home with a bolt of Bella 200, and I was very happy. Okay, this is a new thing that I got from my friend Mike Ostransky at OSS Quilt Works. his wife Mary and I are good friends, and but Mike and I were the OG friends. He and I've been chit-chatting for about 5 years. He saw me on Instagram, and we connected making clappers of all things. And he has engraved so many things for me, but this is something new he sent with Mary. And I'm obsessed with these oiler pins. And if you've not seen these oiler pins, you're just, I don't know. If you have to oil your machine, like any Jukies, any kind of mechanical, if you've got a featherweight, you will know that you've got to oil your machines. This oiler pin is incredible, and it's great for long arms. Like you always have to oil your long arms. This one, he will engrave them, and they're beautiful. It's like a piece of art. And so I cannot thank him enough. And I think the next slide kind of shows what that looks like. So if you're not familiar with these oiler pins, you fill it with oil, and you push the top button like a pin, and it will drop 1 drop of oil, just the right amount, so that you're not getting oil everywhere. It's just the best thing that's been invented. I just think it's great. But he's made them into something special. And so if you're looking for a beautiful gift for a friend for Christmas, this is the gift. It is the gift. So let me know if you're interested, and maybe we'll get some of these put on my website, and we'll get Mike to stitch some up for us. These are all the things Mike has made for me. It was so funny. I had all this stuff at the retreat, and I was like, Mary, I should take a picture of all the things Mike has made for me over the years, because it is like crazy town. And he still makes all these things. And so these are all beautiful ideas for gifts for friends for Christmas. So if you are interested, if this looks like something that we might need to carry on my shop, I can work with Mike, and we can get some of these things put together and make this available for you to share with friends. It's great Christmas gifts, birthday presents, all the things, especially when you're looking for things for quilty friends. So, okay, this is when I started the barn quilt, and oh my gosh, doesn't it look hilarious with all the yellow tape? And this was something that I learned new. The yellow tape is so much better than the blue painter's tape. The yellow painter's tape it really doesn't leak underneath. And so I thought I would show you a progression of how this kind of worked as I started painting it. So this was the first step. Then I painted the background, and then you see the teal color coming in and the little yellow center. And then here's where it really started looking like a barn quilt, and my hummingbird started kind of coming alive. And then I think I have a couple more maybe. And you can see how I'm still having to tape off my hummingbird up at the top, because I was adding more color to him. And there we go. There's the final picture. Oh, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And Janet, she's with J-Vibe. I think it's how you say it, J-Vibe, J-A-V-I-B-E, Barn Quilts in Texas. If you're ever in the area, she is phenomenal. She's a wonderful barn quilt teacher, and she will walk you through the whole process. It wasn't very expensive to do, and it was a lot of fun. So there's my friend Jeannie. She made a sunflower barn quilt, and it turned out awesome. I'm going to show you pictures of everybody's barn quilts, because I know you're all like curious. There I am with my barn quilt. I think I'm going to turn it on the point, or I don't know. I haven't decided. We'll see. This is Rochelle's, and she made hers for her daughter, Lena, and she'll be sending that to her. Lena's favorite colors are purples, and so I thought that was cool. And she did the green background to kind of look like trees and bushes, and so I thought that was cool. And they brought out some like bubble wrap, and while it was wet, she put bubble wrap on the green paint to make it look more textured, so it's kind of cool. This was my friend Lena Owens, Bluebell Designs. She was at our retreat, and she made one. She does a lot of the quilting with Latinas, and I mean, oh my gosh, hers. And that's what's crazy. I did a hummingbird, Rochelle did hummingbird, and Lena did, and all three of our hummingbirds look completely different. Our barn quilts are all different. This one was Mary's, and oh my gosh, she was every time I turned around, she's like, I don't know if I should keep this green in here. Maybe I should change this color out, or do I like this coral color? And by the time you finish it and everybody holds their barn quilts up, it's like, oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. So she left it, and she should, because it was great. This was Sherry's barn quilt. Sherry worked, she worked in the military, and I love that she picked that barn quilt for hers. There's Jeannie with her final one. And then there we all are. Not everybody did a barn quilt, but this group of gals did do a barn quilt, and I think they turned out so good. So you'll see, oh, go back. Yeah. Okay, so that's Sherry on the left, and then you see Rochelle, and then Mary is in the back, and then there's Lena, little tiny Lena in the front, and then there's me, and then Jeannie, and then the last one is Melissa, one of the, she's the daughter-in-law of Janet, and she did that one for Melissa at Osage Hills, who's one of our sponsors of our podcast, and Melissa was supposed to get to come, and she didn't get to come, but we made sure that her barn quilt got finished, and I thought it turned out great.
What was the yellow tape?
It was just a yellow painter's tape, and I'll see if I can find the brand, and I'll link that in my show notes. That's a good question. I don't remember the brand of that. There's me and my buddy Jeannie, and there's me finishing up my blocks. Oh my gosh, I worked on those so much, and I was so excited to get those finished. Jeannie took that picture of me. And there's Jeannie with her ghost quilt. She was putting hers together, and she's the one that actually was like, oh, I've never done that process before, and it hit me. Maybe everybody needs to kind of be walked through that process of putting your rows together. So there's my final quilt. Oh my gosh, and this cracked me up. We did a meet and greet when we were there, and this is Debbie, and she wore, and it's so funny because I think their town's, very conservative, and so she came in with her coat, like, covering up her shirt, and I was dying laughing. So, yeah, where's the fabric? That's what WTF is for. This is the dormouse I've been working on. I worked on that at the retreat. This is from John's Art East and the Mad Hatter quilt that I'm working on. So, and there was the start of the Cheshire Cat, and you'll see the final picture of him. Oh my gosh, is he not so stinking cute? Oh, I'm so obsessed with this quilt. Now I want to get it finished. This was Lena's quilt, and I can show this now because she's doing a sampler for Art Gallery Fabrics, and they went ahead and made an announcement with that fabric line today. So be sure to check out Art Gallery Fabrics because her quilt will be featured with Art Gallery, and it's super cool. And then my friend Dee Bushrod, who you might know as Pixel Quilt, she was at our retreat and sewing with us this week. And she's working on the quilt that I'm thinking of doing as a sew-along next with you guys. And so I would love your feedback, because she's got plenty of things that she's going to share with me as tips and tricks as she started stitching this out. But this is the Elizabeth Hartman show and tell quilt, and I love it. So if you're thinking this might be a good idea, let me know. I would love to get your thoughts, because I think it's precious. Okay, so after retreat, I was on my way home, and I decided to stop in Waco, and stopped at Magnolia and got some coffee and a coffee cake, and then I'm going to tell you what happened. Here's my little story of the day. So I was just enjoying myself. I was sitting at the window. I was all by myself because I drove home by myself, and I'm enjoying my coffee and my coffee cake. And I need to use the restroom. All of a sudden, it hits me. And so I get up, I wrap up my coffee cake, put it in my purse, and I take my chai latte with me. And I go to the bathroom, and I sit it on this little thing inside the stall because I just didn't want to leave it out where everybody, out anywhere. I hit it, and chai latte went everywhere. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, The only thing that could have made that worse was if like Joanna Gaines herself walked into the bathroom as I was doing that. But I was alone, and I did walk out and I let somebody know, hey, I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but I spilled my chai latte like all over your bathroom. And so they came out and they're like, no problem. And I have to tell you, they were so nice to me. They fixed, not only did they go just discreetly clean the bathroom, they made me a fresh chai latte free of charge. Not one word was said to me about it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so impressed with that. And of course, here's my tip. If you're looking for a special gift for a friend, I bought, you're getting ahead of me. I didn't take a picture of it, but I bought this lounger set from the Magnolia Homebody. It's called Homebody, and I got the green, and I'll post a picture of it. But it's luscious. And when I was down there, they were 20% off. So I don't know if they're like 20% off online or not, but highly recommend. And I will tell you though that the waistband can kind of run a little small. So I would size up if I were you. But anyway, that's TMI. Okay, you can go to the last picture. Okay, when I came home, of course, producer John missed me. And so he leaves me sweet things on counters for me to see when I come home. And I always love that. And so I just had to share. He always does this. And I think it's super sweet. So thank you for doing that for me. I think that was the last picture on the slideshow. Any questions or comments, things? I thought I saw, John, I thought I saw you writing a bunch of things down, so maybe not. Just notes? Okay. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. I've got a couple of things. Let me see. I want to remind you guys of. Oh, next week, I think next week I'm going to do something kind of fun. Do I tell you what I'm going to do or just surprise you? I'm going to hold off for a minute. I'll decide. You guys drop in the comments and tell me if you want to know now or if you want to be surprised. Okay, Saturday morning we'll have a new podcast, so make sure you listen to that. It will be a lot of fun. It is from the retreat, and then next week we will also have another podcast from the retreat where we do an interview with Dee from Pixel Quilts and Lena from Bluebell Design. So make sure you listen to that. And then again, if you want me to long arm, this is your like final reminder probably. If you want me to long arm for you, make sure that you drop a note and let me know that. Did you have something, John?
Everybody's saying now.
Oh, you want to know now? No one wants surprises. Okay, I'm thinking of doing a little tutorial next week on how to make a bunting. And because everybody's always asking me, they're always obsessed about like the buntings that I hang in my windows. You can make them for a birthday party, or you can make them for just decorations for fall, or like I do for my quilt studio. So if that sounds like fun to you, that's kind of my plan for next week. And then we're going to be jumping into some other things. I'm going to show you real quick, though, if you're wondering, this is not House of Color, in case you're wondering, like people getting their colors done. This is actually how I do some of my foundation paper piecing. And when I have a big project, and my friend Pride and Joy, Verushka from Pride and Joy Quilting, she does something very similar, but I like these. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, here we go. I like these little clips, and they have little hooks on them. And I take all my fabrics that I'm going to be using for a project, and I clip them, and I hang them on a hanger, and then that way I can put them away. I don't have all this fabric like hanging over everywhere. And then when I need something, I just cut a chunk of it like out of the fabric at the bottom, and it's where I need it to be. So that's my tip for foundation paper piecing, and I'll show you what I'm using this set for. I started this last year, and it is by, oh gosh, I know it's by the Weekend Quilter, I think. Yes, and it's called Merry March. How stinking cute is this? This is going to be, maybe you can give me an overhead. This is going to be my tree skirt. And I'm obsessed with this. Like, it is so, oh my gosh, so stinking cute. But I got started on this last year and I ran out of time. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start working on this again. And because tis the season, right? And so this is like how all of this looks on the back. It's just crazy. So I keep all my papers on as I work on it, and then I'll pull them off at the end once I get everything put together. But it is wild. Like, it is a big, 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 big one. The oil pen. If you're looking for the one that I showed you guys, that's going to be ossquiltworks.com, and I will make sure to drop a link in the description tonight. And you'll have to tell Mike I sent you. I was thinking about finding a way to get them on my website, but I have no idea how to do that. So those are some of my I just wanted to share this with you guys because I thought they were fun. Also, I really want to say thank you also to Sarah Nichols for hosting Inappropriate Quilters and Friends at the retreat in Fredericksburg, Texas. If you're looking for a great retreat center, highly recommend. It holds up to 9 quilters, and it's fantastic, fully furnished. It's got all the wonderful kitchen, all the things in the kitchen that you would need to cook meals, and oh my gosh, it's so good. But the beds are super comfy. The bathrooms are fantastic. Oh, she's thought of everything, and it's wonderful. And one last thing, 2026 is around the corner. I've been hearing from some of you that are looking for speakers for your guild, and I do have some availability in 2026. Not really in April or May, but a lot of other times I have some availability. So if your guild is looking for any kind of speakers, let me know. And I would love to speak to your guild. I do presentations on quilt room organization, which of all things, I know you're shocked. But I love speaking to guilds, and it's so much fun. I'll do trunk shows, and it's a blast. So let me know if you're interested. I would love to come and speak to your guild. If you guys have any questions at all, though, let me know. John, do you have a question? The pattern is the weekend. It's Merry March. So it's called Merry March, and it's by the Weekend Quilter. Isn't this so cute? I'm obsessed with this. It's so good. The colors are great. And the fabrics are all Art Gallery, which if you've never felt Art Gallery, it's like, I wish they would come out with sheets, because it's so good. So yummy. They're buttery soft and gorgeous. So I can't wait. I can't wait to get this all put together. So, all right. That's it. I think we're good. You guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. The week's almost over. We've got the weekend coming up. I'm going to start decorating for Christmas, so stay tuned for some of that. But hopefully I will see you here next Thursday. So go make something pretty. See ya.